Hello and welcome to the Bug Access community. Today we are going to learn an exciting vulnerability which is SQL or MySQL language injection. So let's get right into it. So what is an SQL injection? SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to alter the SQL queries made to the database. This can be used to retrieve some sensitive information which is stored in their database at the back end or in the front end which we don't know. Attacker can directly input SQL queries and take the data from it, which is very harmful to you. Like it contains your username and password and so, which we see later on. So this is how an SQL injection works. So how do we do the SQL injection? So let's take a simple example of someone logging into their own account. So the query which is used by the server is select username password from user, where username is equal to your username and the password is your password. Now the server will go to the user table in their database and check for the particular username and password you have entered, and then it will let you log in. So now let's take an attacker perspective. So for attacker the query will be the same, but instead of particular username he will write this, which is apostrophe space, after that or 1 equal, and or after or it will be 1 equal to 1. So this way the attacker has inserted an SQL injection query, and basically the SQL injection query are made up of conditional statement or a simple statement. So this way the attacker can get users data login or get access to the account which are stored in the database, and this way the attacker can log in with any accounts in their database, and this is how the most basic type of SQL injection works. So how to detect the presence of SQL injection since you used the previous OR function and didn't get any output. So this is the most basic SQL injection queries. Like apostrophe will show you 505 error, and using this query, which is this, you can log in into any account and wait for a delay, which will let the server sleep for some time, which will you indicate and show you the response afterwards. We can also define the number of columns by using the order by command. For example, you think that you are seeing only that products which are being shown to you, but you wonder that if there are some products which are not shown to you. So you can see this by doing these commands, which is order by this and //. So what the significance of hyphen is that it is a comment indicator in SQL. Like exercise, we use a particular angular bracket or apostrophe to make the rest of the query or the command or exercise as comment. So this is the basically use of this hyphen or dash in SQL injection. Now you wonder that how do I exploit, since I know many commands or want to do malicious stuff. So once you know that the particular site is vulnerable, you can identify the number of columns and can retrieve data from it, we will see later, and can change the DB name, database name. You can even check if it is a Microsoft Oracle or Microsoft Oracle, and by seeing that if it is a Microsoft or Oracle, you can do specific commands for that and do not get the internal error. So there are many types of SQL injection like error based, blind, union, out of band, content based, time based, and so on. So let's go over each and every one. First is error based. This type of SQL injection relies on the error message like 505, which we get from the apostrophe. So this is the most basic and error based SQL injection. By doing this, you can either get the data and do not get the data. There are only two possibilities. Now there is union based. Union based is an operator to combine the result of two select queries and return a single table. It allows an attacker to extract the information of the tables by appending the result. So it is combining two tables and getting information from it. Now next is blind injection. This happens when application is vulnerable to SQL injection, but the result of SQL query are not shown in the HTTP response. In this case, We query the database for any true and false statement and see the changes for both and true false condition. So like the true and false statement. For true it will show you some kind of response, and for false it will show you some other response. So it is that blind injection. Now it has two types, which is content based and time based and out of when. So content based is a database server is query with any conditional statement and response from the server end. So this is basically a type of blind injection. Next is time based. Like we talked before, this is technique relies on injecting a SQL query that makes the database wait. So that is how does time based. Now you can even try it by using conditional statement, like if the victim clicks on login button, the page will wait for some time and then will show up. So this is how the time based SQL injection works. Now out of when is very uncommon, so it depends on the feature being enabled on the database. So it relies on the database server capability to make a web request like HTTP, DNS and FTP to send the data to the attacker. So by doing HTTP response or DNS or FTP, will send the data to directly attacker by injecting just the code. So this is how all the type of SQL injection. So this is the theory part of the SQL injection. Hope you understand it. So next we'll do the practicals, so which is very easy. We will using the Sql Lab, which is very easy to solve and can learn you many scenarios. So let's get right into that. Now we will be doing the practical portion of SQL injection. So on Sql Lab. So this is the first lab, which is SQL injection vulnerability in where clause allowing retrieval of hidden data. So there is a product filtering application or product filtering SQL query which does not let you see the unreleased product or the product which are not appropriate for you. So this is a product filtering bypass technique using SQL. So let's do this. Let's click on the tag GIF. You can see now there are only 3 GIFs. By the end of this writing of SQL query, you will see there are not only 3 but there are only many GIFs also. So let's do this. Intercept on and refresh it. Now go to the tag GIF and write this query, which is hyphen plus or plus 1 equal to 1 and hyphen, and forward the request and intercept off. Now if it loads, you will see that there will be many products. Like before there were only 3, now there is more than 3 and like so on. So this is showing me the unreleased products also and some which are not in this category and so on. So this is the most easy and very fun vulnerability you can test for. So you can see now also that the lab is also solved. So this is the second lab, SQL injection vulnerability allowing login bypass. So you can enter someone else's account knowing just their username without knowing their password. So let's do that. You can write anything. I will write here and write password or write any random words or numbers you want, and just write this query which I will just show you, and delete the previous username and write this. Now to solve this lab, I need to log in as administrator, so I will be login as administrator. Now you can write any name or any username you want. You can log in as that also. So let's forward this request and intercept off, and if it loads, it will show me that I am logged in as administrator. Hello administrator, you are logged in as that. Now there is also one thing I need to show you. Since you were doubting that I was logging in administrator, I will do also someone else like Carlos for now. So write any username, password also. Now intercept that request and capture it in the Bob suite. Now go to the page where it shows the username and so. Yeah. So this is the third lab of SQL injection union attack. So determining the number of columns written by the query. So we can check that if there are number of columns, how many number of columns are there. So let's go to the GIF for now and intercept that request and refresh it. Now send it to repeater since we need to see how many columns are there. So now go to the GIF category and paste this query. Now it will be showing you output which is internal server error which is 504. So it is invalid query. So there is more than one column. So let's put the comma right here. Sorry, and write null here and go. You will see there is 505, and you can even check right here that there are more than 3 columns right here. So let's do this and go to right here. Now it will be showing you 200, which is proper for this since there are only 3 columns right here, and we have solved another lab. So this is the lab for SQL injection union attack retrieving data from the other table. So in lab 2 we can see how without using password we can log into someone else's account, but that didn't work. So we can check for that by using lab 3 and lab 4 commands, which we will just see. Okay, so go to the tag gift and send it to repeater and intercept off. Now check for the column query, which is hyphen caps lock on union plus select plus null comma null. Since I know there are only 2 columns, I will just show you the output of that. Okay, so it's showing me 200, so I see there are only 2 columns. Now let's check for the username and password, which is caps lock of username plus password plus from plus users and see right here. Now you will see by scrolling right here, you can see how many passwords are there. You can see there is a password of winner right here. So this is the password of winner also. This is the password of Carlos. This is the password of administrator. And if you scroll down, there are not many passwords. So since I need to log in as administrator, I will just copy this password and log in it. And administrator, copy and paste. Copy and paste and login, and you will see that I can log in that particular account using this credential which are available right here. Now for live site, you need to check each and every line, see that if there is a password right here or somewhere else. So this is the most interesting part of SQL. So this is the 5th lab and final lab, which is blind SQL injection with time delay. So I have already captured the time request. It is a time delay, so let's do this and you will understand how the time delay works with blind SQL injection. So instead of tracking ID, I will write my SQL query and sorry, the query was wrong little bit. This and null the rest. Now you will see the request after the 10 seconds. So you can forward it or wait and just see how the time delay works. So let's wait. and in a bit you will see that the request of the solving of lab has been shown. So this is how the SQL injection works. Hope you understand the stuff. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. So thank you for watching.